A plane suddenly falls from the sky and bursts into flames when it crashes into a home in the Madeira area. Good evening, everyone. I'm Cami Dierking.
And I'm Kyle Linsky. We've been following this local breaking news alert all afternoon out of Madeira.
Yeah, we know that at least one person is dead. The pilot was killed when a twin-engine Piper crashed on Raleigh Mead Avenue. This is near Kenwood Country Club. It's just off Shawnee Run. It happened just before 3:30 this afternoon. Brad Underwood has been gathering information since this story broke. He's live now with what investigators are saying. Hi, Brad.
Well, good evening, Cami. Spending the last hour talking with residents who either heard or saw something in the neighborhood. We're going to show you what is happening right now here outside of that home down the street from where we are in Raleigh Mead near Kaywood. As you mentioned, the pilot of that plane has been confirmed deceased here. The crash happening this afternoon just after, as you mentioned, 3 o'clock. Now, no other fatalities have been reported. The fire chief, not able to tell us if there was anyone else on board. We do know that no one has been transported to any hospitals from the scene in this area. Now, the plane had been gathering images for maps and geographical information systems when it went down in the backyard behind that home, taking out a portion of a recently addition to the home. That's what we were told by the fire chief. No one was home at the time. There were 2 dogs that were there, and they were able to be rescued to get out. Now, this is video you are looking at from a neighbor, the next door neighbor, taking that of the fire that was on board that plane. It was a mechanical fire and contained to the plane, no fire damage to the home. But again, that is the extent of the damage, we are told by the fire department here that is running this investigation, that will be turned over to the state police, the FAA also out here, as is the Hamilton County Coroner's Office. Now, the house, we're told, the damage to the house, if people were home at the time, they might have been able to get out of that because the damage was minimal to that addition in the back of the house. We do know the plane was headed towards Lunken, and talking with neighbors, talking with each other, making sure everyone is okay, talking about hearing the loud sounds and then seeing the plane on fire. This is what Carter, he lives next door, had to say about talking with his neighbors about what they saw and seeing that plane go down.
There was a couple of men that came to my backyard and that had seen the plane crash, yes.
What did they do? How'd that conversation go? What did they tell you about it? You mentioned the banking a little bit.
Yeah, they said that they both saw that it was coming in very low. We get a lot of planes going overhead to land at Lunken, but they both said that it was very low. And then left wing dip, banked sharply, spun around and into that house and into the ground.
Now, you heard Carter talk about lots of planes going over. We've probably seen at least 6 within the last hour flying over this particular area, as it is the way to get to Lunken for planes that are landing or taking off from that airport. We do expect another update at 6 o'clock from the fire chief, the joint fire chief out here, Indian Hill and Madeira. But you talk about the scene, there's still people walking by with strollers or walking their dogs to kind of get a look at the scene here. A lot more calmer now than it was when we arrived, as you had kids getting off school buses here in the area, Madeira schools, as well as parents coming to meet their kids to see if this was their house, because the initial reports, just a plane into a house, so not knowing exactly what had happened here at the end of the street. But now we do know that just some minimal damage to that back end of the addition to the home, but again, at least one dead, the pilot of that plane. Cami?
Yeah, such an extraordinary day in that neighborhood. Brad,